Welcome to the ADP podcast with your hosts, Jrob and LP. We'll talk sports, we'll talk life, and everything in between. So grab a cold one, pull up a chair, and step inside.
I'm not going to tell you that Aaron Rodgers is the best NFL quarterback in the game today because he isn't.
Only the one Super Bowl win and Super Bowl appearance with Aaron Rodgers. To me, even Brett Favre went to 2 Super Bowls. So to me right now, it looks like they're the same guy.
Tom Brady. Agree, disagree, like, dislike, Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the greatest of all time.
I'm going to say that we need to stop pretending like this whole college sports thing is not a business, because that's what it is.
It's not until the revenue sharing would have to be amongst black people that is a problem. If it was 100% white people playing football and basketball, I don't think it would be a problem.
And in this particular instance, we have rules in place that prevent these kids from getting paid for the service that they are providing, something that we all enjoy very much. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of ADP, A Different Perspective. You got your host, Larry Powell, known as LP, and your fellow host, Jrob. We're back in the house, and we're ready to talk to you about sports. And we're really excited because we just got into a conversation about top quarterbacks, specifically top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. We're talking about quarterbacks that are currently playing and what type of historical significance they're going to have. And I have a perspective that some might consider kind of controversial. And when we get into it, I'll tell you all about that. And then there's some big news happening in the NCAA with what's going on and the whole amateurism status. And Jrob has got some serious thoughts about that. So if you hang with us for a while, you'll get all the interesting information. Plus, we'll get into what we saw happen this week in the NFL. So just to kick it off first, Jrob, I have a lot of thoughts about who is currently the best quarterback in the NFL. And one of the things that comes to mind is a lot of people immediately throw out the name Aaron Rodgers. It's the trendy name to toss out there. And, I'm going to get into it a little bit more, but I'd say, hey, maybe not so fast. And your thoughts?
I would have to tell you like this. I'm not going to tell you that Aaron Rodgers is the best NFL quarterback in the game today because he isn't. Due to his body of work, is he a great quarterback? Absolutely. But when I think about with the game on the line, who am I going to go with? If I had 3 choices right now, Tom Brady. Agree, disagree, like, dislike, Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. He has stood the test of time at 42 years old. Sitting there watching the Patriots go against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, it looked like the Steelers was out there playing the Glenwood Cougars out there. It was pathetic. But at the end of the day, you get what you pay for. You say Antonio Brown is a problem. He's a cancer in the locker room. You get rid of him. Okay. You say Le'Veon Bell is a diva. You get rid of him. Okay. So now what is your excuse? Because one thing that I do respect and love about Bill Belichick, whatever your strong suit is, whatever is your power source, he has the ability and the mind, the genius of a mind as an NFL coach to make you disappear, to make whatever you're great at and make you weak in it at one time. Juju Smith-Schuster was in the witness protection program on Sunday night. Ben Roethlisberger looked confused and dazed. James Conner had nowhere to go. That's what Belichick does. He learns, he watches, and Tom Brady's winning percentage against the Steelers is like 87% winning percentage against the Steelers. He has their number. It's on speed dial, and there's nothing coming for the Steelers going into this season.
I hear you. And to piggyback off of what you're saying, is Bill Belichick's greatness, I think, is a lot of the reason that people discount Tom Brady as being the greatest quarterback ever. A lot of people believe that he's a product of the system. They don't deny his greatness, but when it comes to pure athletic ability, a lot of people trendily like to throw out the name Aaron Rodgers. And I think you can't argue with results. Like, we can talk about what happened this Sunday night, and are we going to see just another Patriots appearance in the Super Bowl? Are we watching the inevitable, kind of like we watched Golden State and the Cleveland Cavaliers year after year after year, to the point where we always knew that we always know where the NBA season is going, or at least we believe we do. And so we see something similar here in the NFL, because it's kind of like when you look at the AFC, it's like, who's going to land in the Super Bowl? 75% Patriots, 25% the field. And a lot of that could be attributed to Tom Brady's greatness. However, the one year that Tom Brady wasn't available to him, they missed the playoffs, but they won 11 games that season. So when we get to talking about, go ahead, I want to hear what you have to say.
No, I think the great part about it is, does it contribute to Tom Brady's greatness? Absolutely. But it also contributes to Bill Belichick's attention to detail. He is one that is from the old school. He came up on the Bill Parcells, who was a great coach in his own right. And the Patriot way is the way of next man up. Oh, Larry Powell's our best guy. He got hurt. Not a problem. Here comes this guy here.
But do you think that Bill Belichick's greatness in some sort of way disqualifies Tom Brady as being the best quarterback ever? And then two, like, because we haven't seen it. We have seen Bill Belichick in Cleveland without Tom Brady. We know how that worked out. However, in this era, we haven't seen Bill Belichick. Well, correction, I mentioned Matt Castle. However, in the 20 years that Bill Belichick has been there, the last 19 years, Tom Brady's been his quarterback. So the question is, if he were to have a different guy in the driver's seat, would he still get the same results? I think most probably, like you, believe that the answer is yes, because we just believe that the Patriots organization is going to pick the right guy. They're going to focus on what he does best, and they're going to give him the best opportunity to succeed.
Well, I'll give you this example. The offensive line. The offensive line for the last 4 to 5 years have lost their starting left tackle. Those guys have gone on to have great Pro Bowl years. They leave because the Patriots are not known for paying big salaries for linemen. You had Nate Soldier, who ended up going to the Giants. You had I can't remember his name, but he ended up going to the Jaguars. Then last year you had Brown. This offseason, that Brown that went to the Raiders. The key behind that is Dante Scarnecchia, who is the offensive line coach. He's from the old school. He drills them. He's not calling them. He's not babysitting them. And they're all on the same page. If you look at great quarterbacks come from great systems that are repetitive, repetition over and over, the same thing, repetition over and over, and there is no favoritism. Tom Brady has gotten on numerous interviews and have let people know, hey, you think that I'm on a pedestal, but when I'm in that locker room and we're watching game film, I'm also under scrutiny. There is no diva in that locker room. It's all men on the same page. So when I think about the Steelers, I think about Ben Roethlisberger, which is not the case. They put Big Ben on the pedestal. Other players thought that they could have been entitled to the same thing, and they found out that this is not true, which allows dissension to come between the team. And that's what the Patriots don't do. They don't give you favoritism. If you don't want to get on board, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and get rid of you. And we'll talk about the segment about Antonio Brown later on, but I'm going to tell you how great that narrative will actually make or break Antonio Brown's future and his possibility on being a future Hall of Famer.
I mean, I think there's some that would argue that Antonio Brown is already a Hall of Famer. However, hold that thought. Listeners, hang with us, because we got a lot of good conversation coming up about Antonio Brown. But going back to the whole quarterback scenario, I think it's safe to say that both of us, I feel that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback ever. I don't think you can argue with 6 Super Bowls. It pains me to say, because I'm not the biggest Patriots fan. But, I mean, you can't argue with results. However, as I mentioned earlier, one of the points that I wanted to bring up in today's conversation was that for the last several years, I don't know, maybe even 4 or 5 years, it's been that long, but it's always been a trendy name to say that the best quarterback in the NFL is Aaron Rodgers. And considering how much success Green Bay has had so far, which is recently a couple years not making the playoffs, and then also only the one Super Bowl win and Super Bowl appearance with Aaron Rodgers. To me, even Brett Favre went to 2 Super Bowls. So to me right now, it looks like they're the same guys. So I decided to dig and do some research because when we talked about the podcast today, I was really excited about throwing out this controversial take that Aaron Rodgers is overrated. Like, hey, everybody throws out this name. Like, is he necessarily even in the top 3 quarterbacks? And then it made me do some digging. And one of the main things, because when we think about greatness in quarterbacks, quickly we think about interception to touchdown ratios. Or maybe I should have said it in reverse because, like, don't want to start with negative. Touchdown to interception ratios. And I was like, who's got the best along with win percentage? And those are the criteria that I would use to decide who I thought was the best quarterback. Right. And when I went to go look to see who has the best under current quarterbacks that are in the league right now, who's got the best touchdown to interception ratio, and I pulled up the football database. Football database is awesome. They always have great information. And who was on the top of the list? It is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers throws an interception for every 4.24 touchdowns that he throws. And so I was just like, wow. Because the argument that I was going to contend today was that maybe it shouldn't be Aaron Rodgers that's on that list, but it should be Russell Wilson. And maybe he's overlooked for a variety of reasons that we could discuss at a later point in time. But immediately, the first stat that I decided to use as a criteria refutes my argument. However, guess who's the second on the list?
Tom Brady?
No, Russell Wilson is the second on the list when it comes to lifetime. He throws an interception for every 3.14 touchdowns he throws. So that's more than a full touchdown more per interception. So lifetime, just to throw the numbers out there, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 339 touchdowns to 80 interceptions. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson has thrown 198 touchdowns to 63 interceptions. So he's only thrown 17 less interceptions where he's thrown over 140 less touchdowns. So to say, like, Aaron Rodgers is more than a full touchdown above. And the third person on the list is Tom Brady, who is he throws an interception for every 3.04 touchdowns. So I just thought, I never expected to see what I saw, but I was really surprised by who rounded out the top 10. So now I'll give you the top 3. Do you really want to guess? Because I'll promise you, you would absolutely shock me, brother, if you guessed all time who is number 4 on the list, and it's somebody from our era. Don't think about it too hard. Here, I'll give you another hint.
Okay.
Well, not quite. I was going to say he's the same complexion as us, but not quite. That's a huge hint.
Warren Moon?
We're black men, by the way, and for those listeners out there who haven't seen our picture.
Warren Moon?
No. No, it's almost comical. But I'll give you this person's stats because this person threw 72 touchdowns to 30 interceptions. He's 4th on the list. I don't know what the minimum requirement is to be on this list.
Michael Vick?
No.
Wow. Not Randall Cunningham?
No. You're way off. Way off.
Wow.
Well, just to put you out of your misery because you're not going to guess it, because this is really going to foster other conversations, a conversation that we're not having right now. But this is something that we need to put in our notes for future podcasts. I mean, I know I'm really hyping this up, but I haven't thrown out the name, right? But this name is worthy of the hype. It is Colin Kaepernick.
That makes sense. Because he was a dual threat. He had teams so shook because they didn't know if he was going to run it or pass it. I remember when he dismantled that Packers team in the playoffs. It was strictly like, I'm going to throw it. Ha. No, I'm not. I'm going to run it. Oh, you think I'm going to run it? Ha. Vernon Davis. I remember that. Yeah.
Right.
I remember that.
He rode that train all the way to the Super Bowl. His coming out party was against the Bears. And then just like
I heard that somebody was looking at
Bears
it too.
game, and Colin Kaepernick got there and just sliced and diced him up. Pretty quickly, Jim Harbaugh came out and said, we're going to stick with this guy. So we've seen that before. However, rounding out the top 10, it's mostly current quarterbacks. So, like, this list really bugged me out, J-Rob. Like, so number 5 is Derek Carr. Number 6 is Drew Brees. And Drew Brees throws an interception for every 2.23 touchdowns that he throws. So, like, as you can see, Aaron Rodgers is a full touchdown per interception ahead of the next closest guy, which is Russell Wilson. And then you have Russell Wilson and Tom Brady stacked right there. And then there's another major drop-off where Colin Kaepernick is at 2.4. So he throws an interception for every 2.4 touchdowns. And then it's down to Derek Carr, which I would have never imagined on the list, at 2.28. And Drew Brees, who's definitely a Hall of Famer, at 2.23. So maybe this isn't the best criteria, but I think it's very reasonable to look at. And then you round off the top 10 with Matt Ryan at number 7, Steve Young at number 8, and Peyton Manning at number 9, and Tony Romo at number 10. Is there anything else about this list that surprises you?
Tony Romo. Yeah, Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Tony Romo would definitely be one because he was a roller coaster ride his whole career. If I had to say, hey, I need a quarterback with the game on the line and to march a team down, and it doesn't have anything to do with this player has the best receivers, this player has the best receivers. Who's going to get me down there? I'm going to tell you, call me biased, but I like Russell. I've seen him do it too many times where you were like, this guy's team is not that good. Somehow he gets them to buy in. He marches them down that field. I remember watching that Super Bowl against the Patriots, and it was just like, don't worry about it, guys. We got this. We're going to march right on down.
Tom, like.
Oh, no. Not over Tom.
But because we're basically
I'll tell you what, I'll put him over Aaron Rodgers. That I will do. Because don't forget, he did beat Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. He went head-to-head against Aaron Rodgers and beat him.
Agreed.
You know, and he should have beat Tom Brady. But the offensive coordinator said, hey, look, we're on the 1-yard line. Instead of giving it to Marshawn Lynch, I'm going to try something new and pass it. No.
Well, the Patriots are the beneficiaries of two of the greatest, I don't know what you want to call them, on faux pas. I mean, I got another word for it, actually 2 words for it. And one of them starts with F and the second one begins with a U. It is not toward you, but it's just in the direction.
Is it FUBU?
Two of the biggest mistakes I've ever seen in coaching. Like, it's as much as I like Pete Carroll for his personality, just insane. And then I really question whether or not Dan Quinn, however, conversation for a different day, should have even kept his job. But the thing is, the Patriots stay the course. They never make the tremendous error like we've seen teams make against them. But in both cases where the Patriots grabbed Super Bowls from the jaws of defeat, it was like they were so defeated. They were so beaten, and it just took a little common sense to go ahead and close the door, and instead they stubbed their toe. And it's just painful to watch. However, you can't take that away from Belichick and Brady. They got 6. Period. They're in football. They did what Michael Jordan did.
I'm gonna tell you what really made me appreciate the Patriots was when they beat the Falcons.
Yeah.
When they beat the Falcons.
Oh, painful.
No, it wasn't painful. You know what I
Me,
respected so much about Belichick? When they kept showing the camera on him, he wasn't displaying emotions. He had a little notepad and he was writing down. And where I was at, people kept saying, "Oh, the Patriots are done." I said, "You see what that guy's doing? He's writing down their weakness, and in the halftime, he's getting ready to exploit it." Sure enough, what was working for the Falcons went to sleep. And Tom Brady just went to work. But that's here nor there.
But before shutting this topic down, there's just a couple other things that I recognize on this list that kind of bug me out that I want to mention before we move on. One of them is that Kurt Warner is number 31 on this list, and he's a Hall of Famer. He is currently behind Ryan Tannehill at 30, David Gerard at 28, and Dan Marino is as far down as number 27. That surprises me.
Oh, my God.
Another thing that surprised me is that number 29 on this list is Marcus Mariota. And the fact that he's that high, Marcus Mariota, I think, is largely regarded as a disappointment or hasn't proved himself,
Yes.
or hasn't really met the hype. And yet, his numbers overall aren't that bad. And a couple more surprises that I'll throw out to you. Andy Dalton is number 21 on the list, which is just something that I never would have expected.
Can I get a second, please? Can I get a second? You're talking about a waste of talent. Like, that dude is horrible. But I will just throw this out there for everybody that's listening and will be listening. The Cleveland Browns, I will tell you this: they're stepping in the right direction. I like the Browns, but it was good for them to get their bell rung against the Titans Sunday because they were a little bit arrogant, a little bit cocky. And my question is, Odell, why are you out there playing football in a $350,000 watch? I'm just saying.
Odell is a character. Odell is a character. That's for sure. But hey, we spent a lot of time on that topic. So something that we said that we were going to discuss. And as two Black men sitting here, I think that our perspective on this is pretty relevant because I feel like, especially for people of our ethnicity, and not everything's about race, but I think that for some reason in the Black community, the way that we view sports as an opportunity might differ from other American ethnicities. And for that reason, this very topic really resonates with us. And that's a matter of the concept of amateurism in the NCAA. There's currently a court case that's going on in California. I don't really know enough about the details to speak intelligently enough about the court case. However, it does spark in me somewhat fervent emotions about the whole existence of the NCAA, about the fact that Nick Saban can make $8 million a year. CBS, you have advertisers, you have networks, you have boosters, athletic directors making tons and tons of money off of the backs of these kids. I think it's something that needs to be discussed. I think it's something that needs to be changed, especially considering the circumstances of so many players. But before I even really did the illustration part of this, already the emotions are flowing out of me just because I got some pretty harsh feelings about this one. But I'm gonna turn it over because I want to hear what you have to say, Jrob.
Well, I'm a firm believer of equal opportunity. And when I say equal opportunity, I don't have a problem with Nick Saban getting his $8 million. I don't have a problem with the university when we go to the Sugar Bowl for the national title and they give the school 17, 18 million. I don't have a problem with none of that. I do have a problem when you don't want me to get my money because you're getting your money based on what we do collectively as a team. I might shine a little bit brighter than my teammate, but we're still a team. Now, you're willing to pay the coach, gets the credit when things go good. But what about I go out there and I throw for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns and I'm the MVP, and you're telling me, well, he gets a free education. That's great. I appreciate that. But when I walked around campus, I saw about 2,000 people wearing my jersey number, and I didn't happen to get a dime of that money. And it seems like the problem comes in where they're saying, well, because I read the article you sent me. They have a problem with the players getting money, not through boosters, but through a legitimate form of themselves promoting themselves getting money. So if I wear number 12 and it's the best-selling jersey, I should get a cut of that. If Nike decides that they want to give me a signature shoe, I should get a cut of that, because you as a university are getting the cut, you as a coaching staff are getting the cut, but the players are not getting the cut. And that's where the disparity comes in. So you open the door for boosters, agents to come in and say, hey, look, man, we can give you 250,000 if you come sign with us over here. Well, I'm a college student, and you don't know the background of people that are going to college. A lot of the inner city youth that are going to these major programs have some form of financial need. Mom's needing this. The father may not be in the household. Aunties raising them. Yeah, they need some finances. Why not spread the wealth? They don't want to spread the wealth. They want to keep it to themselves and dictate to you that you shouldn't get a piece of the pie when they themselves are baking the pie, making the pie, and selling the pie all at once.
I mean, I think that where this conversation is really a problem is that, first of all, like, I want to put a caveat on what I'm saying. First, I want to say that I believe in education. I really do. I don't necessarily believe in everything that they teach us. I think that we need to learn a little bit better to think for ourselves, and we really need to question the way that information is presented to us. This includes within education and the education system. However, having said that, I want to say that we need to stop pretending like this whole college sports thing is not a business, because that's what it is. That's what drives the way they change the motivation behind the championships. They're still selling tickets to these games. Like, people are taking every opportunity to buy paraphernalia and marketing. And the fact that it happens to be affiliated with schools, it only makes people more passionate about it. That's the only significance of its affiliation to any university out there. And so, once we can get that out of our heads, then consider this. What other profession is there that says, hey, you can come out here and you can shine, with the exception of the Olympics, but then again, the concept of amateurism. But you can come out here and shine, but no, you can't get paid yet. The concept of apprenticeships exists in interns. I understand that. However, if your skill is being an actor or a musician, or you're just a hardworking kid that goes out to the construction lot and shines and works, you're a carpenter, short of an apprenticeship, you're going to get paid. And in this particular instance, we have rules in place that prevent these kids from getting paid for the service that they are providing, something that we all enjoy very much. Not only that, but then they cannot make money off of their own likeness or image. They cannot get their hustle on. And if I'm not mistaken, getting your hustle on is part of the American dream. That's part of the reason that immigrants from all across the world come pouring out here. And so sometimes within the Black community, we look at that and we think about it, especially when it comes to the two NCAA sports that actually generate money. There is a high percentage of African Americans in both Division I football and basketball, right? And these happen to be the two areas that are most restricted. They earn the most money, but they're most restricted. Now, we've also heard the argument that, hey, but with the money that these kids generate, it pays for all of the other sports at the university. hey, I'm okay with that.
No, let me say this. Look, if you're going to give me a scholarship, I didn't come here to. If you gave me a scholarship to play football, I didn't come here to bring money to the tennis program. I came to bring money to the football program. So that in itself is a farce. The problem of it is, and oh boy, I I just got to be me. Um,
We
it's
wouldn't
not
expect
until
anything else.
it's not until the revenue sharing would have to be amongst black people that is a problem. If it was 100% white people playing football and basketball, I don't think it would be a problem. They have a problem with sharing with young black brothers. You can call it what you want. It is what it is. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to tell me that, all right, let me use you for a second. How much does it cost to go to University of Illinois for a season, for a whole year? Just give me a rough estimate.
I mean, I don't know, probably about
It
12,000,
doesn't.
I guess, in state.
U of I, the whole year. The
I'm
last time I
guessing
checked,
12 to
it's close.
15.
It's close to 30.
Oh,
The
wow.
last time I checked, yeah, the last time I checked, it's close to 30. So you say, hey, I gave you a $30,000 voucher. Let's just use that. Okay, great. Um, I play on the basketball team. I averaged 30 points and 15 rebounds, and I led University of Illinois to the NCAA tournament. I led us to the Final Four and the championship game. We won. I averaged 38 and 15 and 10 assists. I just went crazy. That revenue of us going to the championship game on my back and my co-teammates now, not just by myself, but I had a lot to play in it. This is what happens. You only want me to stay for the 30 and be happy with that. But guess what happens with the coach? The coach to help coach us gets a raise. He goes from 3.5 million to 8-9 million because he coached us to the championship game. I don't receive any benefits. I don't receive a raise, but I should be content with the 30. The school receives millions of dollars from us getting to the Final Four. Same as if we're playing in the national championship game for the football. 17 to 18 million to those universities that win. Okay, Larry Powell is the quarterback. He throws for 500 yards, 7 touchdowns. We win the title. He only gets the, I'll just say $50,000 that year to lead Alabama to the title. Well, Alabama invested 50 in you, but received 18. That's a big discrepancy. I can't make money off my own memorabilia. I can't make money off signing autographs. I can't make money doing anything. But you make millions of dollars off us going to the championship game. You made millions of dollars off of merchandise, licensing, TV licenses, everything. But we can't receive anything in it. It's something wrong. But then if a booster gives a player $10,000, for example, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. What? It's not the end of the world when you take all this money? I mean, it's not like the players are saying, okay, for me to come to your university, I want $3 million. No, I know, and I cannot confirm or deny any of the alleged allegations, several universities that pay players to come to their university. That happens to be in the Final Four every year or the National College Football Championship game. It has been documented that they send money to these low-income players' homes to help their families because they know they are in need. But that's no here or there. The problem is they don't want to share with the pie. I promise you, you will have less infractions if you shared the wealth.
I personally think it's a travesty. And as to your point earlier about supporting other sports, I don't have a problem with that because I think that for a kid to get a chance to go to college and swim or do gymnastics or run track and field, I think that like it can only build his character. I think it's a privilege to compete, and I think that that's awesome. But it's very similar to the way that sports are in high school. Like I don't know how well high school sports support themselves, but I know that sometimes they're out there on the street corner passing around a can saying support this school, buy a
Mm-hmm.
t-shirt or whatever. And so I'm not saying that they can't siphon some of the funds off to send to these other sports, but there's a whole lot of money. We all know this. You know this, I know this. There's a whole lot
Mm-hmm.
of money that's just lining pockets, lining people that work for the NCAA, lining the people that work for these universities, lining the pockets of the people that work for these networks. And the people that are putting their bodies, their very lives at risk on the court, well, more on the football field when it comes to like putting your body in, but it still happens in basketball. There's still risk involved. Like they're completely cut out, and it's like, hold up, you'll get yours when you make it to the league. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you a reason that this is jacked up, J. Rob, is because right now there's
So,
130.
can we deal with that right quick? Look how powerful of a statement that you just made. You get yours when you get to the league. Okay.
Right, but there's 130 Division One schools competing in football right now. In addition to that, each of those teams can dress 70. I mean, I'm no mathematician, but what is 130 times 70? Out of those, how many kids are going to make it to the league? How many kids are drafted into the NFL every year? Maybe 200. We're talking about thousands and thousands of athletes that are never going to see a dime. Their most shining moment is right now while they're at their university, and after that, they'll never to be in the public light again. And so this is their best opportunity. And then a lot of people want to argue education, education, education. These guys spend more time like in the practice room, on the field, traveling than they actually do in the physically spend in the classroom. So come on now.
Well, I will say this, and I'll challenge anybody that would love to have this conversation. And the graduation rate in the NFL, I mean, in the NCAA football and NCAA basketball is very low, because in the NCAA basketball is one and done. So that graduation rate doesn't happen until maybe 7, 8 years down the road for that player once they get established. And then, I did make mom a promise that I would go back and get my degree, things of that nature. In the NFL, uh, well, in football for NCAA, it's not happening at a high rate, because they're focused on getting that money going to the NFL. They're not focused on, oh yeah, well, I'm trying to graduate. Yeah, let me get to the NFL first, then I'll graduate, because I got bills to pay. Mom needs this, dad needs this. It's a need. So that's why it's unfortunate where they tell the player, yeah, get that money when you get to the NFL, but the coach said, hey, let me get my money now. They're not telling Nick Saban, hey, yeah, we can pay you all that money once you get to the NFL. No, he's like, let me get my money, because these players I'm putting on the field, they're producing. So you're paying him for putting the players on the field that's producing, but you're not giving the players money for producing. So I mean, it's not going to work that way. It's not going to
And I
work.
believe that a university, it's not like once you sign up for them, it's not like that scholarship is guaranteed like a contract signing in the NFL. The university can still take away your scholarship. I don't think
It's
that,
on a year-to-year basis.
yeah, I don't think they generally make a habit of that. But like, if you're not doing what you need to do, or if you're still not part of the team, that scholarship can be taken away. And it's,
Now, watch how hypocritical this is. Now, watch how hypocritical this is. You tell the player, well, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, we'll take that scholarship from you. Okay.
I mean,
The
I
coach,
think
the
what we're
coach
both,
has a losing season. Hold on. The coach has a losing season. His money's still guaranteed, and you got to pay him.
Right, but guess what? NCAA, you just did great work because now a kid can actually transfer when his coach could always leave at any point in time. And so, like, at least they've corrected that. But there's still a lot of work to be done. And I'm just going to say this because Barack Obama was elected president once upon a time does not mean that we are there yet. And
No.
I do believe that there are some racial implications when it comes to how people view whether or not NCAA athletes should get paid. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And wow, that was a great topic that we could probably go on, like, do an entire podcast about. But we need to move on and kind of jump on to a little bit of current news, which I know you're excited to get into this because right now we just had week 1 of the NFL season behind us. We're right behind the Monday Night Football game. And there is a couple thoughts. This has been mentioned already before in the podcast, but I think I'll just mention it again. Is the Patriots making it to the Super Bowl yet again just a foregone conclusion? Another thing that I want to talk about is Kyler Murray looked good. Like, so is this whole height thing about being able to be effective in the NFL, is that really mythology? So just a couple questions to start off with. First, is another Patriots
Go
Super
ahead.
Bowl.
What were we talking about first?
Well, because
yes.
once we talk about your guys, the Patriots will go there forever. So let's start off with Kyler Murray. He looked good in his NFL debut.
Well, the first 3 quarters, he looked like a JV quarterback. That's what it looked like. He got it together in the 4th quarter. I think the key of it will be learning from the mistakes he had in the first 3 quarters and starting off how he was effective in the 4th quarter in the 1st quarter of the next week's game. If he can do that, he'll have something to build on. I hope nothing but the best for him. I'm not sold on that air raid system, but we'll see. I've seen stranger things happen, and we'll see. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt until he proves me wrong. But I do believe that the Patriots are the team to beat. If a team made a statement in week 1, it was the Patriots. They not only beat the Steelers, they beat them into submission. They made them boys tap out for real.
Yeah. I was just looking up Kyler Murray's stats because it was one of those situations where you're watching NFL football and they had a different game on. I think it was the Atlanta Falcons getting their brains kicked in by, I can't even remember who beat up on them. But at the end of the game, they cut to the
Minnesota.
It was relatively close. Yes, it was Minnesota. But the game was relatively close. So basically what I saw was Kyler Murray lighting it up. But I guess his stats, the first 3 quarters were relatively brutal. So I know
he's like 9 of 25, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's pretty awful. But he ended with 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but a 32.6 QBR. Because if you just look at the stat line, that would lead you to believe that he played a pretty good game. I mean, before a rookie, they got him out there and they let him throw the ball 54 times. So I will say, hey, welcome to the NFL.
Yeah, he's the number 1 pick. Use him. You shouldn't take anybody number one overall if you're not going to use him.
But, I still think the whole height thing is, I mean, you couldn't go out there and be 5'4" and be an NFL quarterback. However, with Drew Brees' success, Russell Wilson's success, I mean, the verdict is still out on Baker Mayfield, but it just always makes me wonder if, all the kids that we've watched over the years, if they could have actually played quarterback. What little bit I saw of Kyler Murray, like I said, it started off brutal, but he is a rookie, but it looked good. So when we were growing up, we had the Charlie Wards, the Antoine Randall L's, and it was just immediately dismissed that these brothers couldn't go out there and play quarterback in the league. But they did it fantastically on the level below. So I was always skeptical of that.
And Charlie Ward was like, you know what? If you're not gonna take me in the first 2 rounds, I'll just play basketball.
I mean, but he was a
He was
fantastic
like,
football
I'm
player
not
for,
gonna be
I want to
become.
say all 4 years. I
He
believe
was.
that
He
Charlie.
was.
And so I just think it's neat to see that we're opening our minds and we're giving cats, regardless of their race, an opportunity to go out there and show what they got. And I think that's a great thing. I think that the NFL needs to be um, just as colorblind as they are height blind. We're not quite there yet, but hey, we got some work to do. So a
Yes.
couple other things that I wanted to get into about this NFL Week 1. Your Cleveland Browns. So much hype there, and they got ran. Not only did they get ran, but they got ran by the Tennessee Titans and Marcus Mariota, not exactly known for being an offensive juggernaut.
Yeah. If you're going to get humbled, you should get humbled in the beginning of the season, where you can really uh, take that humility pill, accept it. Hey, this is what we need to work on. And matter of fact, less talking and more working. That's what they need to focus on. I mean, I like Odell, but he's becoming a sideshow. I mean, what was the purpose of you putting that watch on? Now, I know he's got good money. I got you. But he's not the only person
Antonio
that,
Brown, Odell Beckham show.
yeah. I mean, I know he's got good money, but he's not the only player in the NFL with money. You go out there, you break that watch, $350,000. Now, I mean, for what purpose was that? I mean, just to show people that you got money? I mean, that's a bad culture. That is, who would love to play against him? Akib Talib. You know how he took he snatched Michael Crabtree's chains off all the year. He'd have snatched that watch right off his wrist.
Hey, you know what I'm gonna say right now? I'm about to say something that is borderline inappropriate. But Odell Beckham wearing a $350 watch, a $350,000 watch on the field lends weight to arguments people would give us about the previous topic. We would say you can't get these no money because look, go out there and they do stupid shit. So the last thing we can do is go out there and pay college students. And so, like, come on, man. Like, we're gonna start a segment on this podcast. Like, man, come on, man. Like, oh, we can't use "come on, man," but it's got to be a better look than that. That's a bad look.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
the segment right there.
Yeah.
Come on, like our bad look for this week. Like,
Yeah.
It's a
Look
bad
at me.
look.
I got my $350,000 watch on here. Look at me. Did you catch a touchdown? No, but I did look good though.
Hey, give me a $350 watch, and I'm doing it.
And I'm good. Hey, are you gonna play in that? No, man, I'm gonna put this up, man. I paid $350 for this watch. What are you talking about?
What you thought living it up was a pair of Jordans and a gold chain?
Yeah, no way, no how.
And the last topic that I want to bring up about this NFL before we just jump onto some real life stuff and close down the podcast is Kansas City. I was about to say the Kansas City Royals. The Kansas City Chiefs. This offensive juggernaut and Patrick Mahomes. Is this for real? And will that offensive juggernaut sustain? And is Patrick Mahomes, Jehovah Mahomes, is he the real deal?
As Shannon Sharp would call him, Patrick Mahomes boy. I like Patrick Mahomes, and I'm not gonna lie to you.
The no look pass? Come on, dude, you're not Steve Nash.
No, that's unacceptable. I will tell you that's unacceptable. Like I'd have to snatch you out for a series or two. Like, bro, what you out here doing, man? You're not Magic Johnson with the no look pass. No, this is football, not basketball. And that could cost you. Like you out here playing cute boy stuff. No, Andy Reid need to put his foot down with that. Hey, throw with your right arm and throw it to the tight end or throw it to the receiver or running back. All that no look, like, no, come on, man, stop it. And that's you gonna get your bell rung doing something like that. Oh, this dude think he a magician out here? Okay, let me let him have it right quick. Yeah, you better be careful with that, Patrick Mahomes. You really do. Like, you can't be doing that. You think it's a game, son? You get
down.
dealt with.
Hey, my brother, the ADP, A Different Perspective podcast was going for a while. I got to say, I think this might have been one of our best shows ever. I think we talked about some topics that matter to people. I think that we gave them some perspectives that maybe they haven't heard before from from just real people, from average guys that are really out in the world taking care of their kids. Wait, that sounded so bad. But, good dads, working men, good husbands, because we want to be all of those things. And we also want to be able to talk to you. So, guys, definitely look us up. Let us hear your comments. We're at ADP, the number 1, a different perspective at gmail.com. I know it's one hell of an email address, but a different perspective. The name is popular. What are we going to say? But we're definitely the guys that we got the views from the cheap seats. We've occasionally been at the baller clubhouse seats. And so, we definitely have the different perspective that you need to be listening to. So again, ADP, number 1, a different perspective at gmail.com. Please email us your comments. We want to hear from you. And real quick, before we wrap up this podcast, I just want to say, Jrob, you'll know where I'm coming from with this, because, I work in a business where we go from job to job. I work in television and film. And so people that are in this line of work basically work on a show for a season, whether or not it was Desperate Housewives or a Law and Order show. It's all done the same way, or a movie. When that movie's over, we're looking for our next job. And so we've encountered what it's like to be unemployed. And I know there's brothers out there that are good brothers that are looking for their opportunity to get out there and grind. And I'm just going to say, we're out here. Come listen to us. Keep your head up. We know what it's like. We might feel that pain. We feel that pain with you. And every opportunity, just remember that there's people out there that love you. There's people out there that are on your side and want to see you succeed. And a lot of times for people of our complexion, things are stacked against us. And I just wanted to toss that out there and just to say, we're with you, we're listening, and we want to hear from you, because if you send us an email, we'll read it on the air. We'll have the conversations that you want to hear, because we're just like you.
Absolutely. Everybody goes through trials and tribulations, good times, bad times, times I wish I could do over, times that, I hate, times that I love. But at the end of the day, you're able to see another day. You got to keep grinding, keep shining, keep staying focused, keep staying positive in your mindset. I know it's easy sometimes to kind of focus on the negative, but you have to focus on the positive. Look around yourself and just know that there are people in the world that would love to be in your situation. There are people in the world that are not able to even feed themselves, clothe themselves, and just stay positive. Stay positive in your mindsets. Stay positive in your thinking. Stay positive in just your everyday walk, and just expect greatness. That's what you have to do. We tell our kids every day when they go to school, expect the greatness, and you open yourself up to have a positive mindset, and it starts in the mind. Everything starts in the mind. If you have a defeated mind, you have a defeated body, and you have a defeated spirit. So you have to have a positive mind, have a positive outlook on things, where you're able to pour into others, and then you never know who you may run into that day, and who just actually said, "Man, I just needed to hear that." And even though you're going through things, you'll be able to to speak to people, and just to encourage them. That's what it's all about. We're doing something right now that we've talked about for years, and just having the opportunity to speak to you guys is just truly a blessing. But just remember, a different perspective, and we're unapologetic in what we're saying. So just understand that we love you guys, and we appreciate you for tuning in, and hopefully you'll tune in next time we're on.
Hey, and so for LP, Larry Powell, Jrob signing off, shooting you the double deuces. And man, it makes me sad that this show is ending. It was such a good time. But peace.
Until we meet again.